Can easily lose. The world's spotlight is shining down on you. All the adoration, all the attention is yours, and yours alone. But love's beaming light also has the power to blind. And if you're not careful, you can easily lose sight of the dangers lurking around you. July 7th, 1997. It's a Monday evening in the vibrant city of Atlanta, Georgia. But at 7 p.m., a young woman enters the local police station with terrifying claims.
She says her friend Tony is missing. She lets law enforcement know that Tony's involved in the sex trafficking world.
The police are certainly interested in what she has to say because sex trafficking has been an ongoing problem in Atlanta.
While the city has always had issues with prostitution, lately there has been a sharp uptick in sex trafficking crimes.
When you're involved in sex trafficking, it's totally different than regular prostitution.
Prostitution is done by consenting adults. It's paid, and the prostitute makes her own rules. Sex trafficking, women are kidnapped, either psychologically or physically, and they become property.
The young woman tells police her friend has been trafficked by a dangerous man named Darius Moore.
She's concerned because she knows that this man, Darius, has his claws in deep into Tony. She are kidnapped, either psychologically or physically, and they become property.
The young woman tells police her friend has been trafficked by a dangerous man named Darius Moore.
She's concerned because she knows that this man, Darius, has his claws in deep into Tony. She expressed to them that if they didn't step in immediately, that she could never be heard from again.
As police begin their search for Tony, they'll uncover the shocking story of a free-spirited young girl who got in too deep with the wrong man and became cheated by love.
She just got caught up in a lifestyle that wasn't meant for her.
In 1994, Tony Rivera was a vivacious 18-year-old with big talent and even bigger dreams.
She just loved to dance at any given time.
We would sit up and make up routines that she used to always say, I want to be on stage.
And fantasized of a fast-paced life in nearby Atlanta.
She enjoyed the limelight. She was looking for her path. She was looking for her stardom.
Atlanta's basically the hub of entertainment in the Southeast region, especially for the African-American community.
It's known for people trying to get discovered, people who wanted to be somebody, be famous, make it in Atlanta.
One weekend in March of 1994, Tony and her friend went down to the big city for Atlanta's famous Freaknik Festival.
Freaknik is a place where Black folk go with like the sororities, the Greeks. It's just an all-out Black party.
Freaknik was like the Black spring break. If you were young, Atlanta was the place to be for your spring break.
Women are out in numbers, flaunting their bodies, begging to be seen.
Upon arrival in Atlanta, Tony...
It's just an all-out Black party.
Freaknik was like the Black spring break. If you were young, Atlanta was the place to be for your spring break.
Women are out in numbers, flaunting their bodies, begging to be seen.
Upon arrival in Atlanta, Tony got out of the car, turned up the music, and began to dance.
I heard my favorite song. It was like go time for me. We ain't call it twerking back then. We call it the shake.
Tony and her friend immediately caught the attention of a few male festival goers.
I'm thinking I'm in my own little video. And as I'm dancing, I see this guy eyeing me. He was coming to the car. He was very athletic, six-pack, hustler haircut, hazel brown eyes. Just looking at him, you would fall in love.
The sexy stranger introduced himself as 25-year-old Darius Moore.
I was like, you know me? And he was like, no, but I want to get to know you.
She tries to play a little hard to get, tries to resist a little bit. That doesn't even last beyond a second.
His personality was just your city slicker. His attitude was just out of this world.
When Darius asked where the girls were staying, Tony confessed they hadn't thought that far ahead.
She had no place to stay. So he immediately was acting like the guy riding in on the white horse the night.
We had no money. And the couple dollars that we did have, it was just something for us to grab something to eat. And he was like, I tell you what, I'll get y'all a room. I was like, all right, you balling like that?
The two spent the rest of the weekend partying together.
Darius paid for them to get into clubs. Basically, the whole entire weekend was sponsored by Darius.
Everywhere they went, Darius's popularity was evident.
Darius seemed as if he had like a lot of respect. He was very popular in the city.
Every time we went somewhere, all the women looking at him. He's shutting them down. Like, don't you see my shorty right here? And that just blew my mind. I got the baddest ninja on the planet, and everybody want him. And he's telling me I'm his.
Tony felt like the luckiest girl in the world and never wanted the magical weekend to end.
She felt like she was young and just like having it.
Tony began traveling to Atlanta as much as possible to spend time with her new man.
We was down here in Atlanta like every other weekend.
During every visit, Darius showered Tony with lavish gifts and made her feel like a queen.
She was being lavish with presents and experiences that she hadn't had coming from her little small town.
It was like whatever I asked for, I got. The only thing that came through my mind about him was he really feeling me.
She thought, this man is trying to take care of me. He cares a lot about me. He wants the best for me.
He came in and he just said, I got you. And to hear that made her feel a sense of security, like, this guy's got me.
Came through my mind about him was he really feeling me.
She thought, this man is trying to take care of me. He cares a lot about me. He wants the best for me.
He came in and he just said, I got you. And to hear that made her feel a sense of security, like, this guy's got me.
I felt love. I got somebody that's stepping up to the plate to say, I'm his. To have me on cloud nine.
Tony was blinded by Darius's love and attention. Little did she know her new man was leading her into a dangerous trap. One that would not only shatter her dancing dreams, but would tear her life apart.
As much as Tony loves Darius, she has no idea what she's getting herself into.
She's thinking that she's falling in love.
Tony envisioned her happily ever after with Darius. But 3 years later, she'd go missing, and find herself trapped, separated from the world with no escape in sight. July 1997. Atlanta detectives are speaking with a friend of Tony's who claims the 21-year-old is in desperate need of their help. She believes that Tony has been forced into a sex trafficking ring by Tony's boyfriend, Darius Moore.
She says Darius has a violent streak and would never let Tony leave. She's actually his prized possession. She wants police to rescue her friend before it's too late.
Tony fell madly in love the very first weekend she met by Tony's boyfriend, Darius Moore.
She says Darius has a violent streak and would never let Tony leave. She's actually his prized possession. She wants police to rescue her friend before it's too late.
Tony fell madly in love the very first weekend she met Darius. But at that point, Tony had no clue who Darius really was.
He made her feel safe. He made her feel loved. He made it a point to get to know about her dreams and her aspirations and every little detail about her. He made her feel like he was her man.
Darius even told Tony he wanted to help make her dancing dreams come true.
Felt so right to have someone listening and caring and being attentive. Someone who could look her in the eyes and make her feel special.
I got the loving, anytime you need anything, I got you, don't worry about nothing. In my mind, I'm like, damn, he loved me this much.
But after a while, Darius's true colors began to show.
Darius let Tony know that he liked her dance moves so much that he wanted to take her to a club.
He was like, so I'm gonna take you somewhere where it'll be all about you.
When they arrived, Tony immediately noticed this was no ordinary dance club.
She noticed that women are dancing from poles, and she's thinking like, whoa, what kind of club is this?
Minutes later, Tony got an even bigger shock.
I hear the DJ, Southern Belle, come to the stage. And I'm looking around to see who going to the stage. Darius, he was like, yo, go to the stage. And I was like, nah, they call somebody named Southern Belle. He was like, you Southern Belle.
Pole? And she's thinking like, whoa, what kind of club is this?
Minutes later, Tony got an even bigger shock.
I hear the DJ, Southern Belle, come to the stage. And I'm looking around to see who going to the stage. Darius, he was like, yo, go to the stage. And I was like, nah, they call somebody named Southern Belle. He was like, you Southern Belle. I told him to call you to the stage.
Tony looks at Darius like, no, I ain't going on stage.
He grabbed my arm and he was like, I told him to call you to the stage. Now get up there. The aggressiveness, it shocked me a little bit.
Tony didn't want to upset Darius, so she made her way up to the stage.
When Tony first got on stage, she was nervous. She didn't really know what to do.
I'm just hanging out, going around the pole, not knowing how to do nothing on the pole.
Then Tony's favorite song came on. The same one that had been playing when she first met Darius.
It was like a surge just took over me. I felt like I was the star.
For Tony, it was like a drug, a high that she had never achieved before.
It was like I needed more. I wanted more.
Riding this new high, Tony danced the night away at the club.
That night,
Tony, it was like a drug, a high that she had never achieved before.
it was like I needed more. I wanted more.
Riding this new high, Tony danced the night away at the club.
That night, I made close to $1,600. And then he gave me $800. Him allowing me to get that money, that just made me fall in love even more.
He was just grooming her for bigger things.
Weeks later, Darius set up a dance audition for Tony with a few music producers.
He was like, I want to get you in the studio, $300. And then he gave me $800. Him allowing me to get that money, that just made me fall in love even more.
He was just grooming her for bigger things.
Weeks later, Darius set up a dance audition for Tony with a few music producers.
He was like, I want to get you in the studio. We're going to blow you up. You're going to be the next thing smoking.
It's extremely exciting. She's thinking, this is going to be my big break.
Darius went outside to wait, while Tony showed the producers her moves.
So Tony was in there working with these people.
You're going to be the next thing smoking.
It's extremely exciting. She's thinking, this is going to be my big break.
Darius went outside to wait, while Tony showed the producers her moves.
So Tony was in there working with these people. She was auditioning and showing her skills.
She thinks her talent will open the doors for her, and all she has to do is walk through them.
But after the audition, Darius...
She thinks her talent will open the doors for her, and all she has to do is walk through them.
But after the audition, Darius was surprised to see that it was over so soon.
He had an attitude. I was like, what happened? You okay? And he was like, you ain't sleep with the... And I was like, what?
Darius ended up getting mad at her and was like, hey, I want you to sleep with these people. We got to make our money.
Darius was surprised to see that it was over so soon.
He had an attitude. I was like, what happened? You okay? And he was like, you ain't sleep with the... And I was like, what?
Darius ended up getting mad at her and was like, hey, I want you to sleep with these people. We got to make our money.
I was just dumbfounded because I'm like, I thought we came here for me to be in the studio.
What Tony didn't yet realize is that Darius couldn't care less about her.
You okay? And he was like, you ain't sleep with the... And I was like, what?
Darius ended up getting mad at her and was like, hey, I want you to sleep with these people. We got to make our money.
I was just dumbfounded because I'm like, I thought we came here.
July 1997. Atlanta detectives are speaking with a young woman about her missing friend, Tony Rivera. The woman believes Tony has been sold into sex trafficking by a 28-year-old man named Darius Moore.
Tony felt loved by Darius, but Darius was just grooming her. He's just basically interviewing her to figure out what it is she's lacking, what it is she needs, and how to eventually control her.
After Tony had been dating Darius for a few months, he hooked her up with some of his music producer friends for a dance audition.
Darius is very well connected. He's got connections in the music industry, which was a big attraction for Tony because she wanted to be a professional dancer.
Tony was very excited about this. She was in there working with these people and she was auditioning and showing her skills.
But after the audition, Tony noticed her man seemed disappointed in her.
I was like, what's wrong? And he was like, you ain't sleep with the... He was like, you came here to do a job. And I was like, a job? What do you mean a job? You told me I was coming here to get signed. I didn't sign up to sleep with nobody. I was just dumbfounded.
Tony was kind of like, whoa, I'm your girl. Why would I sleep with somebody in there?
He was like, look, we need this money. And I was like, we don't need no money. All the money that you got. He was like, I'm your man, right? I was like, yeah. He said, go get this money for your man now. Go in there and make sure you make your man proud.
She buckled under that pressure. She just said, if this will keep our relationship together, then I'll do it.
For me to really say that I loved him, I needed to show him. So the whole time I'm in there, all I could think of was, I'm doing this for him.
After the incident, Toni was so traumatized that she decided to cut her weekend visit short and return home.
I cried all the way from Atlanta to South Carolina. I'm mad because I feel like you threw me to the wolves. The relationship with us, in my mind then, we were done.
But Darius wasn't going to let Toni out of his clutches that easily. The next day, he came to visit her in South Carolina.
He said, I want to apologize to you. Just let me make it up to you. He told me, you just don't understand how I feel about you. I love you.
Darius is a psychological mastermind. He knew exactly what he was doing. Darius gave Toni...
He said, I want to apologize to you. Just let me make it up to you. He told me, you just don't understand how I feel about you. I love you.
Darius is a psychological mastermind. He knew exactly what he was doing. Darius gave Toni the illusion of love, and he knew that she craved love more than anything. Those feelings were addictive for her.
Darius begged Toni to give him another chance, to come back with him to Atlanta. And eventually, Toni agreed.
I'm at the stage now where I'm just going to stick this thing on out because I loved him.
Once a woman becomes so intoxicated by a man that she's literally addicted to him, she overlooks all of his flaws. She's able to forgive him for nearly anything.
He was real manipulative. It was something else with him. And by the time she realized what that something else was, it's too late.
The couple left for Atlanta. But when they got to the city, Darius took Toni to a place she'd never been to before.
Toni enters this house, and it's dark and it's seedy. And she's shoved into a room filled with girls.
Girls in here, they look, we used to call it zooted. They was just like they was on something. They all just looked at me. And one, she said to me, I take it you the new girl that we was waiting on. I was like, what?
This is when she realized what's going on.
My mind just went blank. Cause I'm like, yo, what the hell I done got myself into?
All Toni wanted in that moment was to leave and go back home to South Carolina. But she'd soon learn that wasn't an option.
He was punching me in my face. He was choking me.
July 1997, Atlanta, Georgia. Investigators are sitting down with a friend of 21-year-old Toni Rivera and are learning about the events leading up to the disappearance of the young aspiring dancer. Toni's friend believes that Toni's boyfriend, Darius Moore, runs a sex trafficking ring out of the city and has pulled Toni into the operation.
Darius groomed Toni so that she fell in love with him, that she trusted him, and he could basically do whatever he wanted to with her.
He can become the version of your Romeo once he's gotten, your mind, your spirit, your soul, and your body. You're probably so impressionable at that age that you're willing to do just about anything.
He was able to coerce her into being what he wanted her to be, in spite of who deep down inside she wanted to be.
Once Toni realized her man's true motives, she tried to leave.
My frame of thought was, how I'm gonna get out of here? I need to know my next move. in case it be my last move.
But Darius stopped her with force and made it clear there was no way out.
He was saying that I had a smart mouth. I needed to be tamed. He was punching me in my face. He pulled a knife. He really did some damage to me.
Tony was feeling as if like, whoa, this is supposed to be the man that I love that's beating on me.
She realized that he was not her man, that she was not special to him. And for her, she started to feel like empty, like this void.
That's the kind of hurt that I never thought I would experience from him. This was a whole nother level hurt.
Soon, Tony's worst fears came to fruition.
That's beating on me.
She realized that he was not her man, that she was not special to him. And for her, she started to feel like empty, like this void.
That's the kind of hurt that I never thought I would experience from him. This was a whole nother level hurt.
Soon, Tony's worst fears came to fruition, and she was hired out for sexual acts against her will.
On a nightly basis, Darius come in and tell you who you was gonna go out with. You have a certain amount of time to bring a certain amount of money back. Prostitution, you get gifts, whether it's clothes, money, trips. With sex trafficking, you get nothing. You get nothing but sex.
You're not a human to these people. You're not in control of anything.
Tony wanted to escape, but Darius's wrath knew no bounds.
I tried to get away a couple of times. I got the war wounds for that on my back and my neck. Each time got harder. So I stopped.
This individual has such a hold on you that they have made you believe that you have no other recourse.
She didn't want to get hurt or beat. Basically, it was a survival instinct.
Tony began using drugs to numb the pain, all provided by Darius.
I think she was fearful for her life.
The drugs. That was her way of coping with it.
I needed the coke. I needed the pills. I needed stuff that I would have never thought I needed.
Tony quickly spiraled out of control, and she landed in a place of despair where she had no self-worth. She was just existing, and she had a deep void inside of her.
Often, traffickers use psychological tactics such as drugs as control. Drugs keep victims stuck. They keep victims in prison.
Tony's family came to the city on multiple occasions looking for her. To no avail.
We used to sit around and have conversations. I have anybody to talk to her. Nobody had.
Months went by. No Tony. She didn't want to get the family involved.
And Tony's family could never have imagined what Darius would force her to do next. Atlanta detectives are speaking with a woman who claims that her friend, 21-year-old Tony Rivera, has been forced into a sex trafficking ring by a dangerous man named Darius Moore.
Traffickers spend a whole lot of time putting psychological bonds on women, even using drugs as control. They make them feel thrown away.
Tony's loved ones have come to the city on multiple occasions looking for her, with no success.
I didn't see her anymore, and I used to ask where is she. She might disappear and be gone a week or so, but she always came home. But when the weeks turned into months, and the months turned into over a year, it just kept going.
With sex and human trafficking, you'd feel like you don't belong with your family. You ain't gonna feel like you belong in the world.
She might disappear and be gone a week or so, but she always came home. But when the weeks turned into months and the months turned into over a year, it just kept going.
With sex and human trafficking, you'd feel like you don't belong with your family. You ain't gonna feel like you belong in the world.
Fear, that is the reason why she said she stayed. You feel like if you've been doing it for a while, this is all I know, so I'm stuck.
These girls are in a mental prison. She's gone under the radar. Her family, they don't know what's going on with her.
Not only was Darius forcing Tony to perform sex acts, he also started requiring her to help recruit more girls for the ring, subjecting them to the same brainwashing techniques that Tony herself had been through.
He said he need new bitches on the block. He don't have enough roses on the tracks. The new pimps is coming in and they taking everybody and they bringing their girls. And I was like, so how we gonna do this?
She was told that this is what he need, this is what you're gonna do. She didn't have no way out. She felt like if she didn't do it, hey, they was gonna kill her.
I knew it was wrong, but in the back of my mind, I knew I was there just to do a job. I knew if he could flip on me at the drop of a dime before, he would flip on me again.
For Tony, pleasing Darius became all that mattered anymore, and the only way to stay alive. So she followed his orders to a T.
She learned exactly who would make the appropriate targets.
They're looking for someone who seems lonely, maybe unsure of themselves, someone who is from a family that's not supportive.
She would befriend these young, unsuspecting, vulnerable women and just prey on their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities. Tony was all set to do that, and she was ready to bring them in.
But when it came time to pull the trigger, Tony's conscience kicked into high gear, and she bailed on the plan.
Lo and behold, I couldn't do it. I told him to go home. Don't worry about talking to me no more. You'll find out later what's going on.
The human side of her, the decent side of her, could not allow her to do it. So instead of allowing them to be led to the slaughter, she saved them.
Darius was furious.
He just went berserk. He was punching me in my face. I was just feeling the low of the low, you know?
Darius was trying to prove a point to Tony. This is an order that I gave you, and you betrayed me.
Darius's punishment for Tony's transgression didn't stop there.
That following month was Super Bowl.
Darius bet on the game, and he lost. And as part of the payment, he offered Tony.
He offered me up. That night I had to sleep with 48 men.
She had to endure so much humiliation, pain, degradation. They treated her like she was worthless, like she was nothing.
I was just numb. I couldn't cry. I ain't have no more, just no more nothing.
After speaking with Tony's friend, detectives get to work trying to locate the trafficking house. They know time is of the essence.
The longer victims are in the situation, the longer they are in prison, the easier it is for the predator to keep them there. The longer they go without having a way.
They know time is of the essence.
The longer victims are in the situation, the longer they are in prison, the easier it is for the predator to keep them there. The longer they go without having a way to be rescued, to be found.
The prison in your mind is more dangerous than the physical prison that people get locked into.
Detectives have their undercover counterparts put out feelers around the city. And eventually, they get a hit on a potential address.
Basically, off of the information that they received from another officer, they went on and obtained a warrant.